Introducing our leader and the only two-time director of ODOT, Jerry Wray.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really a monster. Can you hear me? All right? That better? Okay. Welcome to TeamUp ODOT. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your involvement and your leadership. Those of you who participated in the rodeo, who are part of the TeamUp, thank you to OCSEA for the partnership. This is an event that means a lot to me. I think we began doing this type of thing back with Q-Step back in the 90s, and this has grown out of that. We're glad you're here. There's a lot going on at the Ohio Department of Transportation, and I'm going to just go over a few of the highlights for you so that you will be aware of what's going on and what's coming up. One of the things that I understand, and I hope you understand, is that while we all are public employees, nobody here works for the state of Ohio. Nobody here works for ODOT or for the governor or the director. Everybody here works for themselves and their family. You work because you want to own a home and send your children to school, take nice vacations, have a better life. That's what you work for. You work with the state of Ohio, the Department of Transportation, and together we are ODOT. And my hope is that each of you will not only consider yourself to be here to work with and on or in ODOT, but you will look at TeamUp ODOT and the other opportunities that we have to consider yourselves to be working on ODOT, on how we can get better as an organization, how we can do things better, faster, cheaper, how we can be more productive and more high-performance workplace. With that in mind, we have a number of initiatives underway that involve the people of ODOT, mostly HTs, as a matter of fact. We're going to be, we've had a lot of concern. I've had a lot of discussion with a number of people about the HT series and that it's inadequate, that there's improper training, people can't get training that want training, people are forced to go to training that don't want training, people are going to construction that don't want to go to construction, people are staying in maintenance that do going to go to construction. I've heard it all. Our challenge is to correct or fix the HT series. We had a task force. It took us a long time, but we finally got some results of that. We had some representation from OCSEA on that task force. We took that work and we made put together another group, a management group, and made a proposal to OCSEA regarding how we thought we might change or fix the HT series. That was rejected by OCSEA. We are now going to re-engage the union, OCSEA, and ask them if we can put together another improvement group that would be made up primarily or completely of HTs from around the state to go through the various concerns and issues that we have and see if we can't come up with a plan to improve the HT series, provide a better opportunity from the standpoint of career on the maintenance side, and allow people to be doing what they want to do in terms of what their aptitude is. Some people don't want to go to construction, some people do. So we're going to be initiating that improvement team as soon as we can get agreement with OCSEA, and I expect that we'll be able to do that. We have another initiative. I'm going to be meeting tomorrow with a group of 24 HTs from around the state, 2 from each district. One of the big concerns we have is safety, and also it's my understanding from talking to a lot of people around the state that the work that we do is very hard on your boots, and that people have to replace their boots frequently. We've got 24 pairs of boots that we've ordered that these folks are going to get tomorrow. And they're going to try these boots out and see how whether they're too heavy or too light, or whether they have traction, whether they're waterproof or whatever. And what we're looking at is considering the potential for some sort of a boot program that would allow us to have appropriate boots for our folks, not have to use toe caps. How many of you like to use toe caps? I don't see anybody raising their hand for that. And see if we can come up with some sort of a program to help out with the boots, making sure that they are appropriate in terms of safety. We are about to, in the very near future, get new radios for all of our equipment, for all of our trucks. It's part of what's called the MARCS system. MARCS is an acronym, and I don't know what it stands for. To me, it stands for radios. And it's going to be, I am promised and told that they are going to be better, that are going to be clearer, we'll have a wider range, you'll be able to contact local officials, local law enforcement. It's going to be a better system. We are going to convene an improvement team made up primarily of HTs to advise us on how to implement this MARCS program. Where should the radio be located in the truck? Should it be high or low or left or right? And they're going to have a lot of input into how we do this and how this MARCS program plays out for us. It's going to be an improvement. It's going to take a monumental effort, and our partners in this are the Ohio Department of Public Safety or the Highway Patrol, and they're going to be actually providing the radios for us. As I've got around the state, safety has been a big initiative for us. It's a very high priority, and we are doing better. Our numbers aren't as good as they will be and as they could be, but we are getting better. However, I hear a lot of complaints about things that we do and things that we require that don't make sense. That people say, why do I have to wear a helmet for this? Or why do I have to do this for that? And frankly, what they say to me and the way they describe it to me, it doesn't make a lot of common sense. The other thing that bothers me is it's not the same around the state. You have to do certain things in some areas of the state or some counties or some districts, but it's not the same over here. And people are actually being disciplined because of this, because they're not observing the personal protective equipment. We are going to convene, and again, a group of HTs, 1s, 2s, and 3s, maybe some 4s. And we're going to have them come to Columbus. They're going to spend all day, and we're going to come up with some common sense guidelines for how we apply our safety techniques, our equipment. 3 principles. Number 1, we're going to have a safe environment, and we're going to err on the side of safety. Number 2, this is really novel for state government. We are going to try to exercise common sense. And number 3, whatever we come up with is going to be the same all over the state. There's not going to be any exceptions. If they're doing it in Mahoning County, they're going to do it in Paulding County and Washington County. So those are the principles. We want to err on the side of safety, we want to use common sense, and we're going to have statewide consistency. Another thing that I've heard a lot about, probably very near and dear to the folks in this room, has to do with a thing called Chronos. Chronos is working very well in some areas of the state and in some work units. There are a lot of complaints in other areas. One of the things that I like to say is we need to make sure the system is working from a technological standpoint, that it does what we ask it to do. Once we've done that, and I think we have done that, then the thing for us to do is to apply our guidelines and our rules so that Chronos works for us. We're not working for Chronos. With that in mind, we're going to convene an improvement team that's going to involve timekeepers and HTs. They're going to come to Columbus and they're going to air all of their grievances and complaints, and we're going to find out what we need to do in terms of our guidelines and our protocol and our policies to make sure that Chronos is not eating up too much of our time, that we're exercising common sense, and again, that Chronos is working for us. We're not working for Chronos. We've already convened, and they're in midstream now, what we call the perfect truck team. And we invited, Dave, how many folks are? 26. We have 26 mechanics and HTs from around the state who have had 2 or 3 meetings at this point, and they've got some follow-up meetings. And we've asked them to help us develop the specs for the next order of trucks at ODOT. So that we've called it In Search of the Perfect Truck. We believe that the people of this department have a better idea what that ought to be than perhaps some folks who I have a great deal of respect for, and I don't want to insult anybody, but nevertheless, if you're sitting in an office in Columbus, You don't have the same knowledge as someone who's driving a truck in January in Colga County. So we're going to convene. One more thing, and there's a number of other things, but I don't want to take up too much time. I'm probably already blown Nick's schedule. We have the force account limit changes, and they're in place, and we're beginning to push the envelope in terms of what we're going to do. And in some cases, we had a district that placed 740 tons of asphalt in one day. Now that is moving out and getting the job done. That's being productive. What I want to point out to you is within our new force account limits, they could do twice that much and still be legal. So there's a tremendous opportunity for us to do more with our own people and our own equipment and our own materials. The challenge for us is, number one, to get the right equipment. And we're looking at what equipment we have and what is the idea. What should be the footprint of equipment that we have across the state, and understanding that Lucas County is different than Noble County, and that Tuscarawas County is probably different than Hamilton County. So we're looking at what's the equipment that we need to make sure that we're able to perform from a force account standpoint. The other aspect of that is it requires a much higher level of planning and professionalism in how we do our work. And we've gotten a lot of pushback. Some folks say we can't do it, or it's just not the way ODOT does things. This is government. We can't operate like that. I believe we can. I said this to you at the annual meeting, and I'll repeat it. I am so confident that the people of ODOT can do work at the same quality and the same level as any contractor, that we had it put into Ohio law that we will. Now, in the beginning, will we be able to do that? Probably not. We will crawl, we will walk, and then we will be running. When we get there, the production and the quality of the work that we perform will be second to none in the country and second to no contractor. So be patient. This change is probably the biggest change that happened to this department in several decades in terms of what impact it's going to have. Lastly, I want to thank you for being here again. Thank you for being a part of what we're trying to accomplish. Thank you for being involved. Thank you for being a part of leadership. I happen to believe you wouldn't participate in TeamUp ODOT. You wouldn't be in the rodeo if you didn't care about the Ohio Department of Transportation. If you weren't interested in making us better. If you weren't interested in working on ODOT in addition to working with ODOT. On our journey to excellence, our vision says we're going to be reliable, professional, and highly productive. I like to think of it as professional, high-performance, highly productive organization. On our journey, we need everybody's help. All of you know more about something at ODOT than I do, that's for sure. And you probably know something more about something at ODOT than most of the other people around you. Now, the person next to you may know something more about HR or IT or whatever. But we have a lot of knowledge in this room and a lot of knowledge across the state. Thank you for being a part of our journey to excellence. As I say so often, this is not your grandpa's ODOT, so grab hold and hold on. You ain't seen nothing yet. Here.